When we talk about English literature, we must not suppose that the English literature of the age of Shakespeare was entirely a literature of the imagination. England now felt the stimulus of the Renaissance on the intellectual as well as on the artistic side, and the result was the production of great prose works. But a few writers claim a place in a record, and among them is one of great importance, that is Francis Bacon, the principal prose master of his time. Hello friends, welcome to ELS English Literature Studies with Gaur Harpreet. Today I will discuss about Francis Bacon, whose time period is 1561 to 1626. He is known as an English Renaissance statesman and philosopher. As a philosopher and thinker, he is considered as the most important gift God had given to man. As a typical Renaissance thinker, he laid emphasis on ethics and morality. Other notable people who lived in the same era are Galileo and Shakespeare. Francis Bacon is also known as the father of English essays, father of empiricism, is also famous as one of the pioneers of modern philosophy and modern science. Also known as prolific writer who wrote on a variety of subjects. All these points will be discussed in detail one by one. And he is best known for his promotion of the scientific method. He also produced a large body of scientific work. And when we talk about his scientific works produced no world-changing results, but these works provided guidelines for science, that how science should be. It was obvious to him that Europe in its early 1600s enjoyed significantly better technology than the classical world they had. But he found it frustrating that people's intellectual understanding of the world had not progressed beyond that of the ancient Greeks yet. And when we talk about his early life, he was born into a prominent wealthy family, second son of a famous lawyer. He was educated at Trinity College, and his education reflects his upper class background. As a boy, his wit attracted the attention of the Queen, who used to call him young Lord Keeper of the Seal. And he produced a large body of scientific works, and he had three goals in his life. Bacon stated that he had three goals. First is to uncover truth, then he wanted to serve his country, and then third goal is he wanted to serve his church. And he can attain all these goals by seeking a prestigious post. And his parliamentary career began when he was elected MP in 1581, but he was not at all happy with his achievements. He soon became Queen Elizabeth's favorite and his confidential advisor. After that, he was elected as knight. Actually, Bacon held his place in parliament from 1584 to 1617. During this time period, he was extremely active in politics. In 1603, he was knighted upon James I's accession to the British throne. He continued his work and got higher political ranks one by one. Then he became Solicitor General in 1607 and Attorney General after 6 years. In 1616, his political career was at its peak. After 1 year, he reached the same position of his father, Lord Keeper of the Seal. In 1618, he was promoted to the title of Lord Chancellor, one of the highest political office in England. And in 1621, he became Viscount St. Albans. But in the same year, he was accused of accepting bribes and was impeached for corruption. Parliament declared him incapable of holding future office or sitting in Parliament. After the collapse of his political career, now Bacon focused on his other passions, that is the philosophy of science. At this time, he was determined to alter the face of nature philosophy. He focused on empirical scientific methods. He tried his best to create a new outline for the science, and his scientific knowledge was based only on inductive reasoning. It means you move from specific facts to general rules. And in this method, you did not start with theory or hypothesis, that is inductive method. If we talk about Aristotle, he used deductive method. Unlike the doctrines of Aristotle and Plato, Francis Bacon laid emphasis on experimentation. His scientific method involved data, and it included uh, performing experiments to observe nature but in an organized way. He himself claimed that his empirical scientific method would spark a light in nature that would eventually disclose and bring into sight all that is most hidden and secret in the universe. Bacon was a prolific writer who wrote on a variety of subjects. He developed his own idea about the organization of knowledge. He developed the idea that the classification of knowledge must be universal. His approach to this classification reshaped the Western view of knowledge theory from individual to social interest. His views are that if we have access to educational resources, if access to all these educational resources were provided to the public, humanity would grow in a progressive way. The original classification which was proposed by him is like this. He organized all types of knowledge in three general groups, that is history, poetry and philosophy, and he based all this information on his understanding, or we can say it is based on his methodological approach. It is memory, imagination and reason respectively. Bacon's influence can also be seen on a variety of religious and spiritual authors and on groups that have utilized his writings in their own belief systems. Bacon published book 1 of Novum Organum Citarium. He established himself as a reputable philosopher of science at this time. Actually, when Bacon was enjoying his adulthood, he used to share his ideas with his uncle, and later he discussed his ideas with Queen Elizabeth in his letter of advice. But he was not taken seriously. Both paid no attention to his evolving philosophy of science, and it was not until 1620 in 1620 he published this work Novum Organum. It is a Latin word which means new method. Now at that time he was established as a reputable philosopher of science, and he came to be called as a Baconian method of science. Novum Organum was influential in the 1630s and 1650s among scholars. According to Bacon, in Novum Organum, the scientific method have some steps to follow. After completing these steps, steps are like this: table of investigation, then table of presence, all these. After completing these steps, the scientific observer is required to perform a short survey that will help to identify the possible cause of the occurrence. And Bacon did not emphasize the importance of testing one's theory. Instead, he emphasized, or he believed in, observation and analysis. After Bacon's death, his theories showed a major influence in 17th century European science. British scientists followed Bacon's concept and also applied it. The Royal Society utilized Bacon's applied science approach and followed the steps of his reformed scientific method. Even scientific institutions followed this model in kind. John Locke as well as John Mill also showed Bacon's influence in their work. Today, Francis Bacon is still regarded as a major figure in scientific methodology and natural philosophy, as it is he who advocated an organized system of obtaining knowledge with the humanitarian goal in mind. And Bacon believed himself born for the service of mankind, and he sincerely decided to devote his wonderful powers to the advancement of that knowledge. And we can say he sacrificed much for the sake of power and wealth, and for the satisfactions of his inordinate ambitions, right? So friends, this is all about my today's video on Francis Bacon. I hope you will like it, and if you like it, please hit the like button, share and subscribe my channel, and if you are new in my channel, please hit the bell button so that you can get notifications for my upcoming videos. Thanks a lot for watching.